In every corner of the entertainment world, from movies to music to sports, fame often creates an image of perfection. We see celebrities smiling on red carpets, giving interviews, winning awards, and living lives that look easy, bright, and full of success. But behind the cameras, behind the makeup, behind the press statements, some celebrities carry secrets that most fans never hear about until the truth explodes into the news. This transcript will take you through 25 surprising cases where famous stars, once loved and admired by millions, became involved in crimes that shocked the world. Some of these stories involve tragic accidents, some involve terrible decisions made in moments of anger, and others reveal long histories of violence or wrongdoing hidden under the glamour of fame. The purpose of this documentary is not to attack or shame anyone, but to show how fame cannot protect someone from the reality of their actions. Even people with wealth, influence, and large fan bases can make choices that destroy their lives and the lives of others. In this first part, we will go through several major cases that shaped public opinion, sparked national debates, and changed how fans look at their favorite stars forever. One of the first cases that shocked Hollywood came from an actor who was known for playing tough and disciplined characters on screen. In his films and television shows, he was calm, professional, and heroic. But in real life, his marriage was falling apart, and he struggled with jealousy and emotional instability. One night, after an argument with his wife, he made a terrible choice that ended in tragedy. His actions took a life and sent him to prison for decades. When fans heard about what happened, they were stunned because nothing in his public image suggested he was capable of such violence. This case became a reminder that actors are not their characters. Just because someone plays a hero does not mean they behave like one at home. Behind the cameras, a person can be struggling with anger, insecurity, or mental health problems that no one else sees. Another story involves a musician who grew up in a tough neighborhood and carried that toughness with him into his career. He became famous for energetic performances, powerful lyrics, and a style that inspired thousands of fans. But old habits from the streets followed him, and he found himself in dangerous environments even after becoming a star. One night at a crowded club, an argument broke out, and within seconds, someone was shot. The chaos was fast, loud, and confusing, and people ran in every direction. The musician was accused of pulling the trigger, and the case turned into a long, difficult court battle. Witnesses gave mixed statements, videos were unclear, and theories changed many times. But in the end, the court delivered a verdict that shocked fans who believed in his innocence. He went from performing on stage to spending life behind bars. This case shows how fame cannot erase a person's past or protect them from sudden violence. When you mix fame, crowds, alcohol, and tempers, dangerous things can happen in just a moment. There is also the story of a well-known figure in the sports world, a man whose talent made him a global icon. He broke records, won championships, and became a cultural symbol. Fans loved him, children looked up to him, and companies paid millions to use his face in advertisements. But behind closed doors, his personal life was complicated, full of arguments, jealousy, and emotional pain. One night, a violent incident occurred at his home, resulting in the deaths of 2 people. The investigation turned into one of the most talked about trials in history. Every detail was shown on live TV, every witness became a celebrity, and every viewer formed an opinion. The case divided the nation and changed how the media covered crime. Although the athlete was found not guilty in the criminal trial, another court later ruled that he was responsible for the deaths in a civil case. His life, once golden, never returned to the same level of fame or respect. He became a symbol of how quickly a public image can collapse and how even legends can fall when the truth becomes unavoidable. In the acting world again, another story shows how a troubled childhood can shape a dangerous path. A young woman, growing up in a rough neighborhood, surrounded by drugs, gangs, and violence, found herself in a deadly situation before she was even old enough to drive a car. A conflict with another teenager led to a shooting, and the consequences changed her life forever. She went to a juvenile facility, served her sentence, and came out determined to live differently. She unexpectedly got a chance to act in a major TV series, and audiences were struck by her powerful performance. Many viewers believed she was simply a talented actress, but only later learned that her role was inspired by her real past. Her story is different from many others because she found a way to turn a terrible mistake into a chance to help others avoid the same path. She used her fame to speak about poverty, violence, and second chances. Still, her past will always follow her, showing how one moment can shape an entire life. The next case involves a man who went from running illegal street operations to becoming one of the most powerful figures in the sports entertainment industry. His rise to fame was almost unbelievable. After being convicted of killing someone during a street dispute, he served time in prison. But when he came out, he reinvented himself as a promoter for boxing events, eventually organizing some of the biggest fights in history. People loved his energy, his voice, his wild hair, and his larger-than-life personality. But behind the scenes, his past was always present. Many people in the industry knew he had a violent history, but they respected his business skill and ability to attract huge audiences. His story raises questions about how society treats people with criminal records. Should they be forgiven if they achieve success later? Should their past be forgotten, or should it always be a part of their reputation? His life is an example of someone who made terrible choices but still managed to climb to the top of a global sport, leaving the public debating whether he deserved such success. Finally, we cannot forget the case of a rapper who once enjoyed fame during the early years of hip-hop. His music played on radios everywhere, and his albums sold well. But as the years passed, financial problems grew, friendships broke apart, and he became involved in a failed bank robbery. During the attempted heist, a police officer was shot and killed. The loss of life shook the entire city, especially because the officer was respected and known for helping her community. When investigators looked into the case, they found strong evidence linking the rapper to the crime. Witnesses came forward, the timeline matched, and he was arrested shortly after. The court sentenced him to death, making him one of the few celebrities on death row. His story is a powerful reminder that fame cannot protect someone when the evidence is clear and the crime is severe. Many fans were heartbroken, wondering how someone with so much potential ended up in such a terrible situation. It shows that poor decisions, even when made under pressure or fear, can change a person's life forever. Another shocking story comes from the world of Hollywood acting, where a star once beloved for charming roles on television suddenly became the focus of a national crime investigation. This actor had built a reputation as someone dependable and professional, the kind of person audiences trusted to bring authenticity and depth to every role. However, private struggles can sometimes remain hidden from the public eye, and in this case, those struggles escalated into a violent situation. The incident involved a domestic dispute that tragically ended in loss of life. Law enforcement arrived quickly, and the investigation revealed a complex mixture of personal issues, jealousy, and escalating anger that ultimately led to tragedy. The courts evaluated the circumstances carefully, considering both intent and premeditation. Witness testimony, forensic evidence, and prior history all played a part in determining the final outcome. When the verdict was announced, it stunned fans and colleagues alike. This case serves as a reminder that domestic conflicts, when left unchecked, can result in irreversible consequences. Even someone with immense talent and a promising career can find their life permanently altered by a single moment of uncontrolled anger. The public reaction included shock, sorrow, and intense discussion about how stress, fame, and personal issues intersect in the lives of celebrities. It also sparked debates about accountability, mental health support, and the pressures of living under constant public scrutiny. In another story, a famous musician, whose career was soaring in the early 1990s, became involved in a violent incident during a night out in a crowded city. Known for his powerful performances, dynamic lyrics, and close connection with fans, he was widely admired in the music world. However, an altercation with a young individual escalated rapidly, resulting in the tragic death of someone at the scene. The case captured national attention because it highlighted the clash between fame and personal responsibility. Court records revealed the sequence of events and the decisions that led to the fatal outcome. This musician's trial demonstrated the challenges of high-profile legal cases, including media influence, witness reliability, and the impact of celebrity status on public opinion. Ultimately, he was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without parole, ending a career that many had thought would continue for decades. His story shows how even individuals with wealth, talent, and opportunities can make choices that completely change the course of their lives. It also raises questions about peer influence, the pressures of nightlife, and how quickly fun or excitement can turn into tragedy when tempers flare. The world of sports also provides examples of fame intersecting with criminal activity. One athlete, admired for his extraordinary skill and competitive drive, became the center of media attention when allegations of a violent act at his home emerged. The story unfolded over several months as investigators pieced together events, interviewed neighbors, and examined evidence. The athlete's image, once untouchable in the eyes of fans, was forever altered. Legal proceedings revealed that the incident was the result of a personal conflict, but one with life-changing consequences. Television coverage, documentaries, and news reports followed every development, ensuring that the public understood the gravity of the situation. While this athlete was not convicted of murder, the case nevertheless illustrates how quickly public perception can shift. Fans who once idolized him had to reconcile his impressive achievements on the field with the dark realities of his private life. The lesson here is clear: talent and fame do not grant immunity from mistakes or criminal behavior, and personal decisions can carry consequences far beyond the individual involved. In the aftermath, the athlete sought rehabilitation and engaged in community programs to address the root causes of his behavior, highlighting the potential for personal growth even after serious mistakes. The acting world again presents a story of redemption mixed with tragedy. A young actress, known for her breakout role in a critically acclaimed television series, had experienced a tumultuous childhood in which she faced poverty, neglect, and exposure to crime. At the age of 14, a violent confrontation with another teenager led to the death of her peer. Arrested and tried in juvenile court, she served time in a correctional facility designed for young offenders. While there, she discovered a love for the performing arts, participating in drama workshops and learning how to express herself constructively. Upon release, she faced a difficult path but eventually secured an acting role that would launch her career. Her real-life experiences lent authenticity to her performances, allowing her to portray complex characters with depth and realism. This story is a clear example of how early mistakes, even those with severe consequences, do not have to define a person permanently. With guidance, opportunity, and personal determination, someone can turn a negative past into a meaningful future. Nevertheless, the incident from her teenage years remains a powerful reminder that life-changing decisions can occur at any age, and interventions or support systems are crucial in preventing tragedy before it happens. Another individual, a famous promoter in the sports world, illustrates the complexity of fame, crime, and redemption. As a young man, he was involved in a violent street dispute that resulted in a death. Convicted and sentenced to prison, he served his time and emerged with a plan to rebuild his life. Through strategic thinking, charisma, and business acumen, he transformed himself into a major figure in the world of sports promotion, organizing high-profile events and earning worldwide recognition. His past, while never forgotten by those who knew him, was largely overshadowed by his accomplishments. The story demonstrates the potential for people to change, yet it also raises difficult questions about how society balances past crimes with present contributions. Can someone who has committed a serious crime ever fully regain public trust? Should success in business or entertainment absolve prior wrongdoing? These are the ethical considerations that accompany stories of redemption in the public eye. His journey from a troubled youth to a world-famous promoter remains both controversial and inspiring, offering lessons on responsibility, resilience, and the power of reinvention. Finally, a story from the music industry highlights the dangers of crime intersecting with fame in a direct and tragic way. A hip-hop artist, rising to prominence in the 1980s and 1990s, became involved in an attempted bank robbery that ended with a fatal shooting of a law enforcement officer. Despite his musical success, the crime changed his life completely. The police quickly investigated the incident, collecting evidence including eyewitness accounts, security footage, and forensic analysis. The trial proceeded with intense public interest, and the defendant received the death penalty, demonstrating the severe consequences of criminal behavior regardless of fame. Fans who had followed his career were left shocked, questioning how someone with immense talent could become involved in such a crime. His story is a sobering example of the consequences of poor decisions and highlights the importance of accountability. It also underscores the reality that fame, money, and popularity cannot shield anyone from the law or from the effects of irreversible mistakes. The ripple effects of the crime impacted the victim's family, the community, and countless fans, proving that individual actions can have far-reaching consequences beyond the immediate event. Continuing our exploration of celebrities whose lives intersected with crime, we come to another actor whose career began with promise and recognition, but whose personal life became the center of legal attention. Known for memorable roles in both film and television, this actor was admired for his charisma, dedication, and ability to portray complex characters. Fans trusted him to bring authenticity to every role, and colleagues respected him for his professionalism. Yet, behind closed doors, personal struggles began to affect his decisions, eventually leading to a violent confrontation that altered the course of his life. Investigators found evidence of conflict, tension, and emotional instability that culminated in a tragic event. Court proceedings meticulously examined the circumstances, weighing both testimony and physical evidence. Ultimately, the verdict reflected the severity of the crime and the responsibilities the actor bore. The public reaction ranged from shock to sadness, as many grappled with the idea that someone they admired could be involved in such serious wrongdoing. This case highlights a recurring theme: talent and success cannot shield someone from the consequences of their actions, and fame does not eliminate the need for personal accountability. It also shows how fans often struggle to reconcile the public image of a celebrity with the realities of their private behavior. In another case, a musician who had achieved remarkable fame in the early stages of his career faced a life-altering legal situation after a violent incident at a social event. Known for his dynamic performances, catchy songs, and deep connection with fans, this artist's career seemed destined for long-term success. Yet, a heated altercation escalated quickly, resulting in a tragic loss of life. Law enforcement conducted a thorough investigation, collecting witness accounts, forensic evidence, and surveillance footage to reconstruct the events. The trial attracted national attention, with intense media coverage and public debate over the artist's involvement and intent. Ultimately, the court found him guilty, and he received a sentence that dramatically changed the trajectory of his life. Fans struggled to understand how someone capable of creating uplifting or popular music could also be responsible for such a serious act. This case underscores the fact that public image can sometimes mask deeper personal challenges or lapses in judgment. It also emphasizes the importance of conflict resolution, mental health awareness, and careful decision-making, regardless of a person's social status or career achievements. The sports world also offers examples of fame colliding with legal consequences. One prominent athlete, celebrated for extraordinary skill and international recognition, became embroiled in a high-profile case after a violent incident at his home. Investigators meticulously gathered evidence, interviewed witnesses, and examined the athlete's personal history to understand the situation fully. Media coverage amplified the case, following every development and scrutinizing the athlete's actions. Fans who once saw him as a role model were forced to confront the reality that personal struggles and poor choices could lead even the most admired figures into serious legal trouble. While not all cases resulted in murder convictions, the impact on careers and reputations was significant. Sponsors withdrew support, teams reconsidered associations, and public opinion shifted dramatically. This athlete's story illustrates that personal accountability is crucial, and it also serves as a reminder that society often holds public figures to higher standards precisely because of their influence and visibility. It is a cautionary tale for anyone in the public eye about the long-lasting consequences of momentary lapses in judgment. Returning to the acting industry, another young performer faced a difficult path from troubled youth to eventual career success. Growing up in an environment marked by poverty, neglect, and exposure to crime, she found herself involved in a violent situation before reaching adulthood. Arrested and tried in juvenile court, she spent time in a correctional facility designed for young offenders. During her time there, she discovered an interest in drama and performing arts, which became an outlet for self-expression and a path to rehabilitation. Upon release, she struggled to find opportunities, yet her determination and talent eventually led to a breakthrough role that earned critical acclaim. This story demonstrates that early mistakes, while serious and life-changing, do not have to define a person's future permanently. It highlights the importance of second chances, rehabilitation programs, and supportive environments in helping young people redirect their lives toward positive outcomes. At the same time, it shows that public fascination with celebrity crime often blends curiosity, shock, and admiration for personal transformation, reflecting society's complex relationship with fame and morality. Another remarkable example involves a figure in the world of sports promotion who experienced a profound transformation after a criminal past. As a young man, he was involved in a street altercation that ended with a death, leading to a prison sentence. However, after serving his time, he used determination, intelligence, and strategic thinking to reinvent himself. He became a major promoter, organizing globally recognized sporting events and managing some of the most famous athletes in history. While the past never fully disappeared, his accomplishments overshadowed earlier missteps, prompting debates about redemption and the possibility of rebuilding one's life after serious mistakes. This story provides insight into human resilience, showing that even after severe legal consequences, individuals can redirect their lives toward achievement, provided they are committed to personal growth and responsible choices. At the same time, it raises ethical and societal questions. How much should society forgive past behavior, and what weight should prior actions carry when evaluating a person's legacy? Finally, a well-known musician in the early hip-hop industry demonstrates the intersection of fame, crime, and irreversible consequences. This artist enjoyed popularity and success, performing in sold-out venues and earning the admiration of fans. However, a planned robbery led to the death of a police officer, changing the course of his life entirely. Law enforcement quickly acted, and the investigation relied on eyewitness accounts, security footage, and other forms of evidence to establish accountability. The trial concluded with the artist being sentenced to the highest level of punishment available, serving as a stark reminder that criminal acts, no matter how planned or executed, carry consequences that cannot be avoided, even for celebrities. The case also emphasizes the responsibilities of public figures and the broader societal impact of their choices. Families, communities, and fans are all affected by these decisions, demonstrating that fame does not insulate anyone from legal, ethical, or personal consequences. In conclusion, these stories collectively remind us that behind the glittering world of fame lies reality, often complicated by personal struggles, difficult decisions, and legal consequences. Celebrities, despite their talent, wealth, or popularity, human beings subject to the same pressures and mistakes as anyone else. Some use early setbacks to find redemption and success, while others allow a single moment of poor judgment to reshape their lives permanently. Through these 25 cases, audiences gain insight into the fragility of reputation, the seriousness of personal accountability, and the complex intersection of fame and human behavior. By exploring these narratives carefully and respectfully, we can understand not only the shocking nature of these crimes but also the broader lessons about resilience, responsibility, and the choices that define a person's life. Fame may make mistakes more visible, but it does not excuse them, and every individual, regardless of status, must face the consequences of their actions. Fame often comes with glamour, wealth, and power, but it can also hide dark secrets. Some celebrities, despite being adored on stages, courts, or screens, have committed crimes that shocked the public and changed their lives forever. Among them are rappers, athletes, and entertainers whose stories reveal how fame, impulsive decisions, or tragic circumstances can lead to devastating consequences. Take Suge Knight, for instance. Once the king of 90s hip-hop and the founder of Death Row Records, he helped launch Tupac Shakur, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre into superstardom. His rise seemed unstoppable, but in 2015, a violent incident at a parking lot in Compton turned everything upside down. Knight's confrontation with two men escalated to the point where one man lost his life. He was arrested, faced multiple charges, and eventually pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, receiving a long prison sentence. His story reminds us that even those at the top are not untouchable and that one split-second choice can alter the course of a life and career. Similarly, Jason Williams, the former NBA star known for his flashy moves on the court, saw his life crumble in a single night. Hosting a party at his mansion in New Jersey in 2002, a reckless use of a shotgun led to the death of his limo driver. Williams and his friends attempted to cover up the accident, but the truth came out quickly, and he faced trial for first-degree murder. Though his charges were reduced to manslaughter and he served 18 months in prison, his fame, career, and lifestyle evaporated instantly. These stories show how fame does not prevent tragedy and that impulsive actions can have permanent consequences. In the rap world, Turk, a member of the Hot Boys with Lil Wayne, was involved in a fatal shooting in Memphis during a SWAT raid in 2004. Claiming self-defense, he was convicted of manslaughter and spent nearly a decade in prison. Kaya Lee, a rap prodigy who gained fame at just 14 with his album The Fabulous Kaya Lee, ended up committing manslaughter over a dispute involving a small amount of money. Fleeing for more than a year, he was eventually captured, convicted, and sentenced to 14 years in prison. These stories highlight a pattern: talent and opportunity cannot prevent life-altering mistakes. Shine, a rapper from the late 90s under Bad Boy Records, was involved in a nightclub shooting in Manhattan that left multiple people injured. Though he did not face murder charges, he served 10 years in prison, was deported to his parents' homeland, and shifted into politics, illustrating how a single night can erase years of hard work. Ray Lewis, the NFL star, was involved in a deadly incident outside a nightclub in Atlanta in 2000, where 2 people died. Though he avoided murder charges, he pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice and received probation, showing how legal outcomes can vary widely based on circumstances and legal representation. Ray Kuth, another NFL player, orchestrated the murder of his pregnant girlfriend in 1999, leaving a lasting stain on his reputation and resulting in an 18-year prison sentence. Donald Jones, an R&B singer, caused the death of a man in a drunk driving incident in 2001, ending his music career and leading to probation and community service. These cases collectively show a mix of impulsive decisions, reckless behavior, and deliberate criminal acts, all with tragic consequences. Fame and talent could not protect these individuals from the law or the weight of their actions. Other artists and athletes have faced similar shocking stories. GDP, a rapper from the 90s hip-hop scene, lived with a secret for 17 years before finally confessing to a murder he committed in 1993, showing the heavy burden of guilt and the importance of accountability. Big Lurch, a Texas rapper, became infamous for a horrifying incident in 2002 that shocked the public and ended his music career, leading to a life sentence. Gucci Mane, the Southern rap star, faced a murder case in 2005 after a home shootout but eventually walked free when evidence supported a self-defense claim. Cassidy, another rapper of the 2000s, faced charges for a fatal shooting in Philadelphia but served less than a year due to witness withdrawals and reduced charges, emphasizing how legal processes can drastically change outcomes. Vybz Kartel, a dance hall star from Jamaica, was involved in a case that shook the country, leading to a life sentence, showing that violent crimes affect not only the perpetrator but entire communities. Conrad Murray, Michael Jackson's personal doctor, became the center of a global case when the King of Pop died under his care in 2009. He was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, serving 2 years, and leaving the music world with one of its most famous tragedies. NFL player Josh Brent caused the death of a teammate in 2012 in a car accident while intoxicated, leading to a prison sentence and long probation. Silent Toe, a young rapper, was charged with felony murder in 2021 after a shooting in Georgia, showing how even rising stars can face devastating consequences from violent incidents. Lil Loaded, a young rapper whose career was on the rise, accidentally caused a friend's death in a mishandled gun incident in 2020, eventually taking his own life in 2021, highlighting the mental toll these tragedies can have on those involved. Henry Ruggs III, another NFL player, caused a fatal car crash in Las Vegas in 2021 while driving recklessly at high speeds, resulting in a multi-year prison sentence. These stories demonstrate that fame, wealth, and talent cannot shield individuals from consequences when reckless or criminal actions occur. Each of these cases serves as a reminder that a single decision, whether impulsive, negligent, or deliberate, can change lives permanently. From the bright lights of the stage and field to the harsh realities of crime and punishment, these celebrities' lives were transformed by moments they could never undo. What stands out in these cases is not only the legal outcome but also the personal, emotional, and societal impact of each crime. Fans are left questioning how someone so talented could make choices that led to irreversible harm, and families are left to cope with loss and betrayal. These narratives reveal a sobering truth: fame is fragile, and mistakes, big or small, can have monumental consequences. Looking at all 25 celebrities together, a pattern emerges. Many of these figures rose to fame quickly, gained wealth and influence, and were admired by millions. Yet, in moments of conflict, recklessness, or anger, they made decisions that not only ended lives but also permanently altered their careers. Suge Knight, Jason Williams, Turk, Kaya Lee, Shine, Ray Lewis, Ray Kuth, Donald Jones, GDP, Big Lurch, Gucci Mane, Cassidy, Vybz Kartel, Conrad Murray, Josh Brent, Silent Toe, Lil Loaded, and Henry Ruggs III all faced the consequences of their actions, whether through legal punishment, career downfall, or personal regret. Some faced prison sentences ranging from months to life, some had their careers destroyed, and some experienced the emotional burden of taking another person's life. While some, like Gucci Mane, were able to continue their careers after legal battles, others, like Lil Loaded, tragically could not recover from guilt and grief. These stories also highlight how the justice system handles celebrity cases, often weighing evidence, witnesses, and public attention differently than for ordinary citizens. Beyond the legal implications, these narratives remind us that fame and talent are no protection against human mistakes. The consequences are real, permanent, and often devastating. It is a cautionary tale for anyone who admires celebrities or aspires to fame. Choices matter, actions have consequences, and even the most successful individuals can face life-altering repercussions. While their music, sports achievements, and talent continue to be remembered, their criminal actions also become an inseparable part of their legacies. These cases encourage reflection on responsibility, impulse control, and morality, showing that behind the glamour of celebrity lies human vulnerability. Fame may shine brightly, but it cannot erase past actions, and one wrong decision can eclipse decades of accomplishment. For fans, historians, and the public, these 25 stories serve as both shocking revelations and important lessons about the fragile balance between fame, power, and accountability. Ultimately, they are reminders that real-life consequences do not discriminate, and every choice carries weight, regardless of status or influence.